Hello friends, in this particular video or coming 4 and 5 videos, we're going to see how to write down the overview. We have already seen how to plan writing, how to write down the introduction, how to write down the body paragraphs. Now we are going to see how to write down the overview of the questions with different sets of example. So at first try to understand the basics of writing an overview, and let me tell you that writing overview is a very important part of IELTS academic writing task 1. You cannot leave it. That's something that has to be done. This is very important actually, right? Okay. Um, So first thing is where you clearly write about the general information you can see and notice in the graph, chart, map, or process. So see the difference here. It is general information, not talking about writing introduction. So introduction is what does it show? But overview will be what does it overall indicate. So it's different. So what does it show? You just have to look at it. And what does it indicate? You have to study a bit. You may have to observe what overall trend or idea it is reflecting, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is for the graph chart questions where there is clear comparison or trend, you should give the examiner a clear overview of the main feature and can make comparison if you can see any. If that's possible, you cannot make any individual comparison, right? You don't have to mention any numbers, data, states here. So here you don't have to mention anything in the book. If anything is exclusive and you want to compare it with the entire figure, perhaps you can mention that, but nothing can be individualistic. You'll have to take the information as a whole here, right? So this information is because this information about data and figure is already given in two body paragraphs, so you don't need to repeat them. For the map diagram question, however, because they don't reflect any trend, you can give general overview of the most noticeable changes that have occurred or will occur in the future. For example, you can say overall it seems that this particular area has been beautified and can attract more visitors, something like that perhaps you can include. Sorry. For the process question, you can state how many stages the process has, how it begins and how it ends. But that's not only one way. Let me repeatedly tell you, it all depends on the picture. So you have to look at the picture really to see what kind of summary can be written for this particular picture, right? Um, do not look for individual highest or lowest figures such as peaks. You cannot say thus this is the top, because you must have informed, you must have written it in your body paragraph. So please try not to repeat what you have already written in your body paragraph. That should be a bit different from the body paragraph's information. You might describe the highest and lowest, as I have told you, as an overall. Perhaps if it covers the entire picture as a whole, and you can write it just after the introduction or in the end. See, don't write the overview and conclusion both, which is not at all required. In fact, there should not be any conclusion because you don't have to give your opinion here. So better write an overview. For me, I have written the overview in the end. You can write it just after the introduction, right? So let's go through the example part now. So the first example again for the first question, you know the picture, you have written it. Overall, if you clearly look at this, you can get an idea that, see, this blue color is decreasing, this violet color is decreasing, but this one is, so perhaps this kind of thing, right? So see, in general, and this is the language that you can use, uh, all age group experience the same problem to some extent, but the percentage of older people who find language learning difficult is much higher than the others, right? So this can be one of the conclusion here, what they have picked. All age group experience the same problem to some extent. You can say everyone is facing these three problems, but the percentage of older people, this is older people, who find language learning difficult is much higher than the others. So perhaps this is a holistic view of the picture. Alternatively, you could have written that like it is clear from the picture that this has been decreasing consistently with growing age, whereas this and this has been growing continuously with age growth. You can see this is age growth, right? So that's clear now. Okay, let's come to the second example now. Again, the line graph, we have already discussed that. Sorry, if you see any of the trend who is going up here, right, you can see here, so perhaps you can get some idea that perhaps one is going up, although this it started the beginning, you can see they started with lower number or percentage, but then it peaked up. Perhaps it could be 1 point. Let's see. Overall, this is the second language you're learning. In the first one we said in general. Now we are saying overall. So overall, the graph shows new graduates in Ontario managed to find more jobs as French teachers than as English teachers over the same period. Right? I hope you have understood it. It's very clear. Next example, two question part. You can see that there is something which has been growing until 2005, and then it starts coming down. In comparison, the old people population, okay, this is the population, so you can see going up, and this is the old people population, and that is in percentage. So perhaps they'll compare the to write something. These statistics show, again, this is the third kind of language that we can use in overview. These statistics show two contrasting trends in Japan demographic. Demographic means the perhaps the population part that will result in fewer citizens, but greater number of elderly people. Fewer citizens, but greater number of individual people, means elderly people, right? You can see that they're growing continuously. Okay, move on to next example now. Next is again two picture. You can see there are two pictures in the next questions again. So you can see there are two groups, and this is the food choice, and this is the effect of the food choice. So we have to take all. So that's why, because it has got much information, so it has become long. But the third beginning can be overall. Overall, there seems to be a direct link between a better life quality, means the kind of food they're eating, and healthier diets. Whereas students in group A who consume healthier food combinations show better attendance in the class. You can see the better attendance in the class. Those in group B show a great rate of absenteeism. So 70%. So you can see that attendance at class is 90% and their absenteeism is a bit higher, and it covers the entire picture. That's important, that it should cover the entire picture. The next question is a diagram. You have already understood what exactly is it. So let's try to see. In this kind of question, it is a bit tricky to find because they don't talk about any trend. They don't compare any figure. But somehow you have to, I mean, sum up by saying something in the report. So clearly, so that is the fifth way to begin an overview. Clearly, the fossils would have remained buried and the coastline unchanged, right? It could have remained buried and the coastline remained unchanged if it had not been for the action of the sea. Means if it has not been hit by the sea water again and again, there could not be any change in that. I hope that suffices. That's okay. Kind of overview. Let's talk about the next one. This is a process diagram, so there is no trend again, you can see, but perhaps the people, the way they're using forest, perhaps we can, and the entire process, we can sum it up with that. Clearly, the agricultural process required to produce food-based products consists of a number of well-defined stages that follow forest trees to reach a certain age before they cut down and new forests are planted. Right? That's fine, I think. And now we have come to the last questions, the questions of mapping, comparison of two mapping. Here again, it's a bit tricky, perhaps what's really be written. So the two given maps show an island before and after the construction of some tourist facility. This is the question. All in all, so that is the sixth way of writing the overview part. All in all, it is noticeable that the island changed to a complete and beautiful touristic place that has many available facilities. So perhaps you got the idea that you have to find some holistic information and you have to write it in the overview part. You don't have to do anything new in that. Okay, so I hope you must have understood by now that how to write down an overview of this entire writing. So next we will cover each segment exclusively to see that how can we improve in that particular part. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. See you very soon in the next video. Bye for now.